not mine. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Avant Money Cork Sean McDermott for the draws for the Intermediate Smith Monumentals Championship, Smith Monumentals Intermediate Football Championship, Round 3, and the Connacht Gold Senior Football Championship, Round 4. So I'm joined here by Vincent O'Rourke, Secretary of the CCCC, and Chairperson of the CCC, Seamus McManus, and Anne McGee, who's also a member of the CCC. So, in line with what we would have done in previous weeks, we will commence with the Intermediate Football Championship. And the format for the Intermediate Football Championship is that all 10 teams are placed into a pot. The first 5 teams that are drawn out shall have home advantage, and the next 5 teams drawn shall be away in this round. And the crucial part here is we have to try to avoid repeat pairings from round 1 and 2. So just from the point of view of repeat pairings, if a team is drawn out to play away and has already played this team, they will move into the next available slot downward. Okay, so I hope that's particularly clear. So we'll start the draw, and we'll ask Anne and Seamus to look after the buzz. Let's mention the bag. So with that, they're well shook up, and we'll pull out the first home team. Aughnasheelin. Second home team, Anne. Drumreilly. And home team number 3. Followed by home team of number 4. And finally, the 5th home team will be Kiltubbert. Okay, so the 5 teams in order are Aughnasheelin, Drumreilly, Aughvass, Ballinaglera, and Kiltubbert. So we move to the 5 away teams, and the first away team will be drawn to play Aughnasheelin, unless it's Drumkeerdon or Drumreilly, which it can't be Drumreilly because it have already been drawn at home. So the next team out will play Aughnasheelin, unless it's Drumkeerdon. Okay, Aughnasheelin versus Carrigallen. So just wait 1 second to repopulate this now. Okay, so before you pick it, the next team out will play Drumreilly, and Drumreilly have already played Carrigallen, who have been drawn out, and Aughnasheelin are in a home team. So the next team out will play Drumreilly, I think. Drumreilly versus St. Mary's, correct. Okay. So slowly as we go, third team out will play Aughvass, and Aughvass have already played Melvin Gales and Kiltubbert. So we have to be careful here. Alan Gales. So slow down here now till we consider this. So it's due to be Aughvass versus Alan Gales, and that would leave the final 2 teams are, tell me, Vincy, there. And just I'll populate it here anyway. So Aughvass versus Alan Gales. Drumkeerdon and Melvin Gales. Right, so we have to be careful, slow down here now. Drumkeerdon. It would look like Kiltubbert has to play Drumkeerdon and Ballinaglera would play Melvin Gales. Is that correct? Ballinaglera played and Drumkeerdon. Right. So draw the ball anyway, just for the sake of the optics of it having been in the bag. Melvin Gales. So Melvin Gales will play Kiltubbert. Is that correct? No. Ballinadare play Melvin Gales. Okay, so it's coming out in order anyway. Right. Okay, and Kiltubbert, obviously. Play Drumkeer. Okay. So, just to recap on that draw, Aughnasheelin will play Carrigallen. Drumreilly will play St. Mary's Kiltahart. Ahavas will play Allen Gales. Ballinadare will play Melvin Gales. And Kiltubbert will play Drumkeer. So that concludes the draw for round 3 of the Smith Monumentals Intermediate Football Championship. And we will now move to round 4 of the Connacht Gold Senior Football Championship. The format for that, because of the number of games that have been played so far, is that the 5 away teams from round 3 should be placed in Pot A, which they are already. I think this is Pot A. And just before we put them into anything, Vincy, there are the designated home teams in round 4 and shall be drawn first into round 4 game order in accordance with how they're drawn out. And the 5 teams in Pot B shall be drawn then to complete the games while we avoid repeat appearance from rounds 1 and 2. And the same as the Intermediate Football Championship, the team cannot play a team that they're drawn to play against. They move down the various positions downward to the first available slot. So we have to be very slowly as we go, particularly obviously with the second set of teams. So we will have the 5 teams that are due to be at home. You can place them in the bag now. James, and they are due to be Anaduff, Ahowillan, Glencarman or Hamilton, St. Mary's Kiltahart, and St. Patrick's Dromahair. So we're good to go with this one. This is the simple part of it. So the first team drawn out would be in game 1 at home. St. Patrick's Dromahair. Second team to be drawn at home. Ahowillan. Team number 3, third home game. St. Mary's Kiltahart. Team 4. Anaduff. Second. And the last team to play at home. Glencar or Hamilton. Okay. So that's the 5 home teams. The orders is game 1 will involve St. Patrick's Dromahair, game 2 Ahowillan, 3 will be St. Mary's Kiltahart, game 4 will be Anaduff, and game 5 will be Glencarman or Hamilton. So we'll now place the 5 teams, namely Ballinamore, Sean O'Heston's, Fina St. Callion's, Gortletcher, Leitrim Gales, and Mohill into the bag, and shake them up while they're on. So just before the first ball is played, there are potential opponents for St. Patrick's Dromahair, and they are Fina, Gortletcher, and Leitrim Gales. So if you're looking at this screen down here, down where what I'm looking at here, whatever opponent St. Patrick's Dromahair pulls out, if it's one of those 3, will populate that place, but you'll also see it having an effect on the possible or potential opponents for the remaining teams. So, first one out, St. Patrick's Dromahair will play Fina St. Callion's. Right, so we'll hold it there now for a second, because this has an impact on something else. So, yeah, by default now, if we look down to the Glencarman or Hamilton, which had 2 potential opponents, one being Fina St. Callion's and the other being Ballinamore, Sean O'Heston's, then that means that the only possible team for Glencarman or Hamilton in this draw is Ballinamore, Sean O'Heston's. So we will now place that into the versus Glencarman or Hamilton versus Ballinamore, Sean O'Heston's, and look for the knock-on effect there. So what that has done is it has reduced Ahowillan's possibilities to 2, St. Mary's to 2, and so on down the way. So if we draw the next ball, and obviously if it is Ballinamore, Sean O'Heston's, it has already been placed, so you can just discard it. Leitrim Gales. So they would be due to play Ahowillan, but they're not a possible opponent for, or are they? They are. They can, yeah. So Ahowillan have St. Mary's Kiltarragh into the next available slot. Right, okay. So, right, we analyse the knock-on effect of that, which is now that there are two possible two games to be filled, Aughawillan and Anaduff, and the two that are left are Gortlettra and Mohill, and by my reckoning, neither of them have. Anaduff actually have played. No, neither of them have played each other. Neither of them have played the other two. So the next team drawn out, we go back up now to fill Aughawillan slots. So the next team out will play Aughawillan, unless obviously it's Ballinamore, which has already been out. Aughawillan versus Gortlettra. And that should conclude the draw because Anaduff will now play Mohill. So you can just draw the last two balls just for the sake of the optics of it. The first one out is Ballinamore, Sean O'Hestlands, and the last ball, obviously, I think should be Mohill. So that concludes the draw for round 4 of the Connacht Bowl Senior Football Championship. And just to recap on the games, St. Patrick's Dromahare will play Fina St. Callans, Aughawillan will play Gortlettra, St. Mary's Kiltarragh will have a derby with Leitrim Gales, Anaduff will have a derby as well against Mohill, and Glencar Manor Hamilton will play Ballinamore, Sean O'Hestlands. And those games are due to be played in 2 weeks' time, Vincey, I think it is. And I'll just recap just again, in case anybody has joined us late, for the draw for the Intermediate Football Championship, Smith Monumentals, round 3. And games are Aughnasheelin versus Carrigallen, Drumreilly versus St. Mary's Kiltarragh, Aughavas versus Allen Gales, Ballinaclera versus Melvin Gales, and Kiltubbert versus Drumkeeran. So my thanks to Vincey and Seamus and Anne for assisting with the draw here, and to my technical staff here that you cannot see, Brendan and Con. Thank you very much for setting this up. And fixtures will be completed by the CCC later on this evening and circulated to the clubs as they normally are. And just as a final footnote, I'd like to congratulate the Leitrim under-16 football team and their management for the excellent win in the Father Manning Cup yesterday against Galway West in Pearse Park in Longford. It was a terrific achievement, our first title in the Father Manning Cup since 1990. And we look forward to the progress of those young lads going forward. It was a great achievement for them lads, their families, and the team management, and well done. Garvila Mahaguf Galer.